This is the Anker SOLIX F2000, the one that used to be called the PowerHouse 767, and I'm making this video because I've been using it enough that I trust what I'm saying about it now. I didn't buy it to look cool in the garage. I bought it because I wanted something I could roll over to wherever I needed power, run the stuff I actually care about, and not stress every time the lights flicker or I head out for a weekend away. I'll put it in context like this. It sits in that serious portable power station category. It's not a little power bank you toss in a backpack, and it's not one of those whole home battery setups that basically becomes part of your house. It's for people who want real plug-and-play backup power for outages, or dependable power for camping, RV trips, working out of a truck, photo, video work, that kind of thing. For me, it's a mix of home backup and occasional travel use, and it fits that role really well. What matters most in day-to-day use isn't the spec sheet, it's whether it's annoying. And honestly, this one is mostly not annoying, which is kind of the highest compliment I can give a power station. The first thing I noticed is the form factor. It's heavy, no way around that, but the wheels and that pull handle change the whole experience. I can drag it across my driveway, through my garage, even over slightly rough pavement without feeling like I'm wrestling a dead weight. I've owned an older portable unit before this that was lighter on paper, but it didn't have the same rolling setup, so it ended up feeling harder to move because I had to carry it like a cooler. With this one, I only feel the weight when I have to lift it into the trunk or up a step. The second thing that became a big deal for me is how it behaves when I use it like an actual backup system. I've had it running my fridge and some lights during an outage, and I've also used it to keep my internet equipment and my desk setup alive. The UPS feature has been solid in my experience. When the power drops, my router and modem don't reboot, and that's exactly what I want. I'm not saying it replaces a dedicated rack UPS for every scenario, but for a normal home setup, it's been reliable enough that I stopped worrying about random blinkouts. The third big benefit is the charging experience. I've used power stations in the past where charging felt like an all-day event, and you basically had to plan your life around it. With this, I can plug it into the wall and get back to a high charge level fast enough that it changes how I use it. Instead of babying the battery and only using it just in case, I'm more comfortable actually using it for real loads than topping it off when I'm done. That's been huge for me because it makes the whole thing feel practical, not precious. Now for some real-life stuff I didn't fully appreciate until I lived with it. Fan noise is a thing. When I'm charging it hard or pulling a lot of power, I can hear it. It's not ridiculous, but if you're in a super quiet room, you'll notice it. In my garage or during an outage when there's already chaos, it doesn't bother me. If you're thinking you'll run this next to your bed all night in a silent camper, you'll want to factor that in. Another thing is you have to be a little mindful about settings if you care about squeezing every hour out of it. If I leave it on without really needing it, I've seen the battery drop more than I expected. Once I started using the power-saving behavior more intentionally, that got a lot better. It's not a flaw so much as this is a powerful inverter sitting there ready to work reality. I treat it like I treat any serious piece of gear. Turn off what you're not using. Port selection has been genuinely useful for me. I've charged laptops over USB-C without hauling my charging bricks around, and I've run regular household plugs without hearing any weird buzzing from the inverter. Everything feels stable. I've also used it with car-style outlets, and while I do wish the 12-volt side had a bit more muscle for certain niche devices, for normal stuff, it's been fine. Compared to my older power station, the biggest difference is confidence. The older unit could handle small electronics and a couple of lights, but I always had to play the what can I run without tripping it guessing game. With this one, I can run the appliances I actually want to run during an outage, within reason, and it doesn't feel like I'm balancing on a tightrope. Compared to more expensive options I've looked at, this doesn't always have every premium feature people chase, but I also don't feel like I'm missing the point. For my use, I'd rather have something that's easy to move, charges quickly, and just works when I need it. So, is it worth buying? For me, yes, because it's replaced multiple smaller solutions and cut down the stress factor. I'm not constantly thinking, can I plug this in? I'm thinking, what do I actually need powered and for how long? That's a better way to use a power station. If you only need to charge phones and run a tiny fan, this is probably overkill. If you want a realistic backup option for essentials at home and something you can still move around without hating your life, it makes a lot of sense. That's been my experience with the Anker SOLIX F2000. If you've got questions about a specific appliance you're trying to run, or you want me to test a particular use case in a future video, drop it in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if this kind of real use review helps you out, and leave a comment with what setup you're trying to power.